Chapter 1. Things of the Cosmos. We of the cosmos are eternally different, yet eternally the same. Our powers are unchanging, yet we assume so many forms that man could not name them all in a lifetime. We exist in the countless stars of the sky, in every wave of the sea, in everything above and below the earth. Water and flame, soil and air, all hold us within themselves. In the beginning, we created the cosmos out of chaos. Every race and language tells our story in their own ways. When there was nothing, we came out of nowhere and separated chaos into innumerable elements. We set the stars in their courses and placed limits on the sea. We invented the sun and lit the lamp of the moon. At first, there was only Skyfather and Earth Mother. Every race gives them different names, but as cosmic beings, they are always the same. They created the entire family of gods, and when they had built their heavens, they had to battle against the forces of evil, which may have also been the children of the great parents. We waged such wars above every quarter of the earth, from Iceland to New Zealand, and when we had the time, we created mankind. You humans possess all the qualities which we know as gods: courage, lust, love, avarice, despair, nobility, cowardice, and all the rest. You need not wonder why your natures are as tangled as a thorn bush, mingling flowers and thorns. You inherited them from we innumerable gods, who still meddle with your destiny. We live within the heart of a diamond, in the slightest breeze which touches your cheek. Most of all, we live within the hearts of men. If you seek us, you will find us, but do not open doors too wide. You may release Odin the wise, or Venus the lover, or even some of our manifestations, such as the gallant King Arthur, or red-eyed Mars, and dreadful Hades, also lurks within your hearts. We are you, and you are we. Perhaps you find it hard to believe in us. If so, then think about the words of one of your wise men. He said that if you bet on the gods, and they don't exist, you lose nothing. But if you bet against them, and they do exist, you lose everything. Remember this as you read our stories. Aeolus, guardian of the winds, a son of Poseidon, lord of the ocean, by a mortal woman. He went to the sea as a boy and eventually gained command of his own ship. As a shipmaster, he realized that the ships could be blown along by the winds instead of having to depend on oars, and he invented sails. After many adventurous voyages, he married a princess and settled down on an island of Libya. As a member of Libyan royal family, he became both a judge and a priest, and performed both duties so well, his immortal relations looked kindly upon him. Zeus appointed him guardian of the winds, and put him in charge of the brothers, Boreas the north wind, Xiphus the west wind, Eris the east wind, and Notus the south wind. He keeps them chained in a cave on Libya, and releases them only when it is necessary to make the weather. When the great adventurer and navigator Odysseus visited Libya, Aeolus gave him a leather bag in which he had secured all of the winds which might have harmed his ship. Unfortunately, Odysseus' crew were so curious that they opened the bag and let the winds escape, thus changing a prosperous voyage into a disaster. Aesir, creators of the cosmos and first gods of North Europe. In the beginning, there was nothing but a great wasteland of ice and snow, stretching between the cloudland of the north and the land of fire in the south. Sparks from the land of fire melted some of the ice, and drops formed into Ymir, father of the giants. As he lay sleeping, he gave birth to giants within his armpits. He was nourished by Audhumla, a cow which appeared out of the melting ice, and as Ymir drank the milk from her udders, she licked at the ice until it revealed a being called Bur. He had a son named Bor, who married Ymir's daughter, Bestela, and fathered the giant gods, Odin, Vili, and Ve. These Aesir battled against Ymir and his giant children, and killed all of them except for Bilgemer and his wife, who sailed away on a sea of blood from the battle to become the parents of the new race of giants. The three Aesir then built the cosmos out of the body of Ymir, using his flesh for the earth and his salty blood for the sea. They changed his hair into trees and his bones into mountains. And when this work was done, they raised his skull onto 4 pillars so that its curved interior might become the sky. Sparks drifted over the earth from the land of fire, and the three Aesir caught a number of these to place within the skull of Ymir. Odin and his brothers commanded one of them to become the sun, and the other to become the moon, while the others became the stars and planets. Once in position, they stayed there, obedient to the rules which the Aesir made for their duties. When the cosmos was ready for habitation, the other Aesir appeared to join the task of creation and administration. Two of them, Honir and Luther, were walking with Odin upon the earth when they saw two dead trees and changed them into the first man and first woman. Albion, the dominant kingdom of the Isle of Britain, named after the great white cliffs which soar out of the Sea of the Franks along its southwest coastline. In former times, the people of Albion consisted of fierce tribes similar to the Scots of the far north and the Cimmeri of the west. A race of giants led by Gog inhabited the south of the country until they were defeated by Brutus, the Trojan. His Trojan followers, famed for their strength and courage, intermarried with the people of Albion and created a splendid new race, whom they called Britons, after their leader Brutus. Joseph of Arimathea converted them to Christianity, after showing the power of the new faith by thrusting his staff into the soil near Glastonbury, where it blossomed as a white thorn tree. After their conversion, the noble descendants of the Trojans dedicated themselves to the knightly virtues of valor, chastity, and succor of the helpless, especially virgins who had been kidnapped by dragons. Albion is a singularly beautiful country, largely covered by misty forest, inhabited by fae, goblins, pixies, and similar beings. The castle of the knights stand on top of hilltops above the towns and villages, and from these emissaries, the knightly class protects the farmers and craftsmen who toil diligently in the lower lands. The country is rich in iron and has ironworkers of great skill. They fashion weapons and armor for the knights, often with the guidance of sorcerers, who help them to create swords of magical powers. There are also mines of gold, silver, copper, tin, and other precious metals. Gnomes and kobolds help the miners find most of the profitable finds of these minerals. Albion is noted for the beauty and purity of its women, although the knights often have to protect their virtue against the assault of evildoers. Surrounding kingdoms envy the richness of Albion and make frequent attacks upon the nation. This state of almost continuous war has an unhappy effect upon its politics. The knights often quarrel about the military leaders, but the powerful Pendragon family from the far west has succeeded the descendants of Brutus, and they maintain order by the mixture of force, magic, and guile. The Apples of Youth. The gods are immortal because they enjoy a diet forbidden to mankind, such as the nectar and ambrosia of Olympus. In Asgard, the Scandinavian heaven, the Aesir maintain eternal youth by eating the golden apples of youth. The goddess, Idun, always carries them with her and makes sure that no mortal has ever had a chance to sample the golden fruit. A giant, Tiazi, knew of the apples, however, and longed for them to ensure his immortality. His chance came when he captured Loki, the youngest and most mischievous of the Aesir, and refused to let him go unless he promised to bring Idun and her apples down to earth. Loki never hesitated to betray his fellow Aesir, and soon he thought up of a trick to lure Idun out of Asgard. He told her he had seen golden apples in the forest of earth, which were even more beautiful and powerful than the apples of youth. Idun was so curious that she followed Loki down to Tiazi's hut, where the giant locked her inside. The Aesir soon noticed of her absence when they began to grow old and weak, and they knew that Loki was the only one of their numbers so dishonorable that he would have betrayed her. They threatened him with such savage punishment that he changed himself into a hawk and flew down to rescue Idun and the apples. He changed her into a nut so that he might carry her through the air, and laden with Idun and the apples, he climbed slowly towards Asgard. Tiazi pursued him in the form of an eagle, and Aesir watched anxiously as the giant bird soared closer and closer to Loki and his precious cargo. The eagle was about to pounce on the hawk when the Aesir built a great fire in the sky, so that it scorched the pursuer's wings, and Tiazi fell to the earth. The apples of youth have remained safely in Asgard ever since those days. No mortal has ever been able to taste these, or any of the other forbidden foods which preserve the youth of the gods.